Shastra temple is surrounded by mountains, dense forests that are part of the Periyar Tiger Reserve. It is one of the largest annual pilgrimage sites in the world, with an estimated 10 to 15 million pilgrims visiting the temple every year. The Sabarimala temple lies on the sacred hilltop, perched 3,000 feet above sea level. Now, the major pilgrimage season at Sabarimala is the 41-day Mandala Kalam and thereafter the Magaravilakku festival, which coincides around Jan 14, that is Makara Sankranti. Now, the season begins on the first day of the Malayalam month of Vrichchikam, November-December, and lasting for about 60 days with a break of 3 days in between. The Sabarimala Ayyappa temple opened on the 16th of November for the Mandala Magaravilakku pilgrimage season. The temple witnessed an unprecedented footfall in the first 48 hours. A massive influx of devotees was reported on Tuesday, on the 18th of November, resulting in a near stampede-like situation. Reports say that 2 lakh pilgrims reached the temple in just 48 hours, more than double the usual 40 to 50,000. Many devotees complained of long waiting hours, inadequate assistance and congestion along the trekking routes. Amid the heavy rush, a 58-year-old woman, Sati from Kozhikode, collapsed and died after suffering a heart attack while trekking at the Appachimete area near the Pamba River. Now, the Travancore Devasam Board chief admitted to lapses. The BJP claimed and blamed the Kerala left government and the Devasam Board under its aegis of incompetence, and alleged that their anti-Hindu governance was exposed again. Now, Kerala High Court came down heavily on the Pinarayi Vijayan government and the temple board. The first observation: preparation should have started at least 6 months ago and number of virtual queues should be reduced, was the observation. The second observation: board informed that even after spot booking, more than 10,000 climbed the hill. The third one: why were devotees allowed to enter beyond capacity? Also, what is the point of pushing devotees in and out? There should not be any untoward incidents. The other part: at the top of the hill, there were no restrooms, no facilities. Women, children, old, aged women, because women between 15 to about 50 are not allowed as per the rules of the deity. So young children, young girls and older senior citizens, older women, along with a lot of men were present there, and they spent more than 12 to 14 hours at the top of the hill without food, water or even basic facilities, amenities. Now, heart-wrenching video of a child being fanned by the father has gone viral. These visuals show that the state was unprepared. Has this left government's anti-Sanatan mindset been exposed? They have always had an issue with Sabarimala, even trying to force the rules of the deity the other way, trying to force entry of non-faith people into the sanctum sanctorum in the name of liberty and equality and justice, etc. Listen into the pain and anguish of some of the devotees as they speak out and express their dismay at being treated like this.
The inflow of visitors is unprecedented. Nobody expects 1 lakh people to come on the first and second days. So there is an inadequacy of systems. Then secondly, today I don't know what has happened, because a lot of people have jumped the queue and formed an unruly crowd on the lower Tirumuttam. That we will control. We will allow them to for darshan now, and then we will barricade all these places.
See, children are also facing so many problems. See, the police also not caring about the people, not giving the water also properly. What is this? At a Mandal time, so many people will come. After Makara Jyoti, also so many people will come. But people are facing so many problems. They are not taking certain precautions to about the pilgrims. Why then? What is the government is doing? Never seen this issue. We are coming from past 6 years. Never seen this issue.
No proper administration, worst management. Worst this time. Very worst.
God is great, but maintenance wrong. That's what. They have to maintain perfectly.
Management pura waste. Management pura waste.
Shri V. Muralidharan, former MOS MEA, is with us at this point. Muralidharanji, namaste. Thank you for your time. You heard the devotees. You've seen the pathetic state of affairs there. What are you thinking at this point? Is this how devotees will be treated in Kerala year after year?
See, this is not a new thing. In fact, Sabarimala pilgrimage, as you mentioned in the beginning, it happens in the Malayalam month of Vrichchikam, that is mid-November to mid-January. it's a yearly phenomenon. It's not something suddenly that has happened. So government has all the time, at least 10 months after the last pilgrimage, till this pilgrimage, there were 10 months. Last month, the Honorable President of India, Rashtrapati ji, visited and had darshan in Sabarimala. After that, there was one whole month. And the fact that the Devaswam board and the government of Kerala's, that is the communist government, they didn't give due attention to the providing facilities for the pilgrims. That is the basic reason why this is happening. And I would like to remind that there was a recent program called the Global Ayyappa Sangamam, where the government of Kerala, including the Chief Minister, announced that around 1,000 crores will be spent on providing facilities for the pilgrims. But today, to everyone's dismay, we find that the Karnataka government has issued a advisory saying that the pilgrims should they should be extra cautious because there is a fear of the amoebic meningoencephalitis, which happens from stagnated water. So the basic facilities of providing drinking water, providing the required amenities, daily requirements for the pilgrims, on that side, the government has not given any attention. On the other hand, Kerala government spent around 6 crore rupees on having that global Ayyappa Sangamam, where those people who were invited, they were provided 5-star facilities. So I feel that the communist government, they don't have any special attention, devotion to the Sabarimala or the temples of Kerala. That's why it is being neglected. There was no attention paid. There was no meetings held. Normally, every year before the pilgrim season starts, a detailed meeting on the preparations are held. But this year, we know that there was a lot of discussion, and the case is going on in the High Court of the loot of the gold that was plated in Sabarimala. So the government is more interested in protecting those who looted those gold and not very much interested in providing the facilities required for the ordinary devotees. But that is the basic reason why this has happened.
But is this what is the thought process here? Why would somebody love something like that? This is the same Sabarimala where they tried to force entry of those who are not allowed by the rules of the deity. There was a huge ruckus created. So all these rules form only for the Hindu faith, is it, Mr. Muralidharan? Is that the case?
Yeah, that's what I would also like to raise, because this would not happen to any other place of worship other than the Hindu places of worship. Any other religion's place of worship, if anything very similar to this had happened, it would have raised a hue and cry from the entire political class, entire society. But unfortunately, the communist government is least interested in the upkeep and the maintenance of the Hindu temples. That is the basic reason why this is happening every year. This is not the first time. 2 years ago, there was a similar situation by the end of the season. Many people who wanted to come to Sabarimala, they couldn't reach there, and midway they returned back. Now I hear reports and read reports that on the very first day, people who came from many other states, they didn't reach Sabarimala. In between, they had to stop the pilgrimage and return back.
Yeah.
The basic reason is that the government has not given the due attention, and the department and the Devaswam board. Now, say for example, now the president was telling about 2 lakh people coming.
Yeah.
See, there is a virtual queue, and virtual queue should take care of these things. That is why the virtual queue is created.
Correct.
Why should you give spot booking for 10,000 people? That is what today the High Court asked. High Court asked that in spite of such a big queue, 2 lakh people thronging together, the Devasam board gave spot booking facilities for 10,000 more people. When already you were unable to control the people, why did you give another 10,000 people the opportunity to get into the queue? So the virtual queue system has completely collapsed.
There is a principle of temple economy also. From a governance point of view, of 10-15 million people are going to come to what is one of the most visited pilgrimage sites in the world. Would you not want to ensure that it is facilitated in such a way, because it also boosts the local economy? It is also a huge matter of pride for the state. Kerala, which is branded as God's own country, then why this apathy? Why would a government not want to show? Or is it to try and say, don't come to temples?
See, it seems there is such a hidden agenda that Sabarimala, it is a big crowd, don't go there. To spread this message and create panic among those desirous to go to Sabarimala. So nobody would dare to go to such a place where it is unsafe. So this mishaps happening, mismanagement happening, not providing the required amenities, this is happening every year. In spite of the hue and cry at that moment, again, it repeats the next year. So it has become a recurring phenomenon. That's why the devotees will have to take this up in a big way and ensure that the temples are freed from non-believers. Ultimately, those who are not believers, when they manage the affairs of the temple, this is how it happens, and we are seeing the result of such approach.
But my final question, Mr. Muralidharan, lakhs of Hindus from Kerala have trusted Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan with the mandate. So has he betrayed that trust?
Of course, I have no doubt about that. The believers in the temples, the devotees should think whether the Pinarayi Vijayan had upheld the trust deposed on him. And people should come out and express their opinion and express their views at the appropriate time to ensure that the believers, the non-believers are not entrusted with such responsibilities.
Right. Mr. V. Muralidharan, thank you for speaking so candidly and frankly with us here on The Right Stand. Thank you very much. Namaste. Dr. Anand Ranganathan with us, Arun Anand, author and columnist with us, and Vivek Srivastava, leader to the left, is also with us. My namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Dr. Ranganathan, your thoughts? You posted a video that's gone viral, and you had something very strong to say there, those words that you used, that these are not lambs walking silently to a slaughter, they are bleating. That's what you said. Very strong words that you've used.
They are not strong enough. Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. It is a catastrophic situation, but I'm afraid I just heard the previous panelist, who was the ex-MOS, and he was saying that non-believers should not be given the task of managing temples. I believe that is specious to begin with, because this kind of mismanagement happens all the time, multiple places, multiple Hindu temples, and they are managed by Congress politicians, communist politicians, BJP politicians, cutting across party lines, believers, non-believers, what have you. The entire point is that the state is controlling Hindu temples when it should not. And the control of this and the property of the Hindu temple, the reason why they control it, because it is the largest, financially most damaging scam of independent India. Even using petroleum sector as a cash cow pales in comparison to the loot and pillaging of Hindu temples that is happening in the name of secularism. Anand, Hindus are easy to dupe and abuse because they don't behead transgressors. And the irony is that India is being branded a fascist Hindu Rashtra. I want to ask, what sort of Hindu Rashtra is this? That those who want to eradicate Sanatan Dharma are controlling the temples of Sanatan Dharma. There is corruption in running mosques and churches as well, like in Coimbatore and Jabalpur churches recently, Believers Eastern Church Kerala, Methodist Church Fatehganj, but only Hindu temples are taken over by the government on the pretext of corruption. Why? I ask you, are the communists in Kerala, for whom religion is the opium of the masses, why are they controlling 3058 Hindu temples? Why is Muslim appointed on Tarkeshwar board, a Christian on Tirupati board? Why is government of just 10 states controlling more than 110,000 temples? Tamil Nadu alone, 36,425 temples, similar amount of temples in Karnataka. Why? What business is it of the state to levy an administrative charge between 5 to 21% on temples in the name of audit? What business is it of the state to dictate how many times a puja is to be conducted, who is to conduct it, who is qualified to be a priest? What business is it of the state to control tens of thousands of acres of temple land and then set rent on it? The loss to temples on account of this alone is estimated over decades to be in lakhs of crores. As you know also, the activist T.R. Ramesh, who could go to jail anytime. Tamil Nadu government that should be earning 6,000 crores per annum from the 2.44 crore square feet of temple land it controls, earns a mere 58 crores, not even 1%. Why is it that a petition to free Hindu temples was pending in the Supreme Court since 2012? They can allow midnight hearings for terror accused, but not here. But then I ask you, and this is the question I want to ask everyone. If the Congress can bring in a legislation to control Hindu temples in 1959, one that still stands, why can't the BJP bring in a legislation to override it?
That's because the title of your book is quite apt. Hindus are 8th class citizens in Hindustan. Vivek Srivastav, 10 to 15 million, yes. 15 million pilgrims who come to Sabarimala on an average every year. One of the most visited pilgrimage sites. For a state government, irrespective of what ideology, you would at least want to ensure that you facilitate it and make world-class arrangements, especially after the promise post the floods. Especially after, like Mr. Muralidharan said, 1,000 crores are being allocated. Where are the 1,000 crores?
Yes. Mr. Muralidharan said that you need people with devotion to manage the shrines. So Yogi Adityanath doesn't have the devotion because of what happened in Kumbh. The government in Delhi doesn't have the devotion because of what happened with the Kumbh Yatris at the New Delhi railway station. What happened in Vaishno Devi Shrine Board recently in Vaishno Devi, that should also be disbanded because they do not have devotion, it seems. So anywhere if there is a fiasco, something goes wrong, overcrowding, more people come than estimated, you start questioning the devotion. So you should have a devoted Hindu government. Is that what you are trying to say? And what is Dr. Anand Ranganathan trying to talk of? State within a state, Musalman voter alag, Hindu voter alag, Musalmano ka alag, Hinduo ka alag. What is this here? This is, the constitution says, listen to me now. You cannot allow the funds and the chandas and the donations being given in the name of the temples to be going into the pockets of the few priests. And that is why the Congress government brought in that legislation. And you want to turn the clock back.
Who are you to allege that?
No, let me speak.
Who are you to allege it?
Of course I am alleging it.
And you are not alleging that that the Maulvis are also pocketing, that there is corruption in mosques and churches? Who the hell are you? Are you an auditor?
Your logic is, when you do not have any logic to defend the taking over of the temples by the government,
okay. Vivek Srivastav, just, okay, can we just lower down the volume, but you can keep the intensity, let's lower down the volume. What I am asking you is, whatever position that you are taking with Hindu temples, should you not take the same position with all other religious institutions? Why don't you say that? Are you trying to say that there is no corruption in mosques? There is no corruption with Waqf? What was the left's position on Waqf? What is the left position on the corruption there? Are you saying that there are no churches and no places where donations are being misused and they should not come under state control? If you believe in equanimity, then then the control of state should be across all religious institutions, not just endowment boards for Hindu religious institutions.
First of all, a lot of misinformation that these Hinduvadi Sangatans and the sitting government at the center has been spreading about the Waqf is wrong. You cannot suddenly go and see a land and say, "Ye mera ho gaya to ho gaya."
Answer my question. No. In Kerala, does the state control all religious institutions? No,
you can, but it is not needed.
Why? Who are you to? How is the left deciding? I will control Hindu institutions because they are corrupt, but non-Hindu institutions are not corrupt because I decide so. Oh, what logic is that, sir? Have the same position.
And they are governed by the Societies Act.
No,
ऐसा नहीं है.
have the same position. No, whatever you alleged, what I'm saying is, why is the left government not having the same position for everyone? Then the left government should also say that the donations put by Hindu pilgrims at the Wavar mosque should also go to the state, and it should not be collected by the mosque entities, then the mosque authorities there.
No.
Is the state saying that? Is the state saying that the donation box at the Wavar mosque also belongs to the state? Is it saying that?
So the fashion is that if something goes wrong with the Hindu majority
Is
or
the
the
saying
institution,
that? Now why are you digressing? You're not answering my question.
You have to give me 30 seconds. You have been
You're not
preaching,
answering
let
my
me
question. No, don't digress. No,
अरे
you made the allegation. I heard you.
Second, आपने तो बोल दिया और हो गया साहब, narrative आपका complete. ये थोड़ी ना बात है.
See,
You give me 30
my
seconds.
point
and let me speak.
my point is, you
I
answer
will
my
give you 5
question.
minutes.
You please answer my
I will
question.
answer. No, I
What
will
you
not
do
answer
is, what you tend to do is, you deflect. You then become personal, and then you try and make allegations which, and then you say, I assume and therefore and maybe. This is the classic leftist narrative. No proof. I assume, I allege, and therefore and maybe. These are the 3-4 around which all your arguments are stem from. Arun Anand, please tell. Okay, I have limited time. We've got to get to the other contentious aspect also, or as I have to move on. Dr. Ranganathan, please wait. Arun Anand has been waiting patiently. Yes, Arun Anand. We'll spend another 2-3 minutes on this before we move.
I just want to add to this thing. See, there has been a general sense of apathy in the non-BJP governments when it comes to managing major religious affairs or major religious events. We have seen, like in Ayodhya, in Kashi, in Ujjain. So now, after the BJP governments have come, and especially after the BJP government came to power at the center, the situation is much better. You ask people, there are millions and millions of people who visit these places. And I also want to add, the Kerala government. So because Hindus are not a vote bank for them, so there has been a general sense of apathy towards Hindus and especially Hindu temples. And mind you, it is not only Hindu temples have actually basically in the post-colonial era. So they have been kind of basically marginalized because they're not only places of devotion. They used to be, they are at the core of the, Hindu society, the social life, the social fabric. So we need to, so when in a temple like, at such a place, so don't look at it only from a religious or a tourism perspective. So you have to look at it from a larger sociological perspective. And I think, we should stop looking at it politically and, trying to bring in, this Hindu majoritarian thing in this thing. This is the responsibility of the state towards its tax-paying citizens. When they are coming there in the large numbers, they should take care of them.
Sir, Dr. Ranganathan coming to you, I'm just going to request our team to please connect Dr. Shri M.R. Venkatesh, because he is watching the broadcast and he says, I have experienced this. I have suffered here. I was there at Sabarimala yesterday. So we'll try and get him on the phone right away. Yeah, there you go. We'll try and get him on the phone and try and see what he says. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, please.
No, 2 points. With due respect to the previous panelists, who I respect a lot, the responsibility of the state is to get out of controlling the Hindu temples. That is the responsibility of the state. This is not a communist state, but unfortunately, and you asked the right question to Vivek. And you know what, Vivek, this is very unfair. Here, I get only 30 seconds. Anand, please.
Okay, okay, 1 minute. House rules, when I interrupt, you can speak over me, Vivek ji. Dr. Ranganathan didn't, please yield, and then I'll give you time to counter. I will keep quiet. I will keep quiet at that time. I will give you time. Please be rest assured. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, 30 seconds, and then another 30 before we get M.R. Venkatesh.
No,
yes.
Yes, small mercies. Vivek can only throw digital water at us. But, couple of points that I want to make. First one, I asked a very simple question. If you're controlling Hindu temples, why aren't you controlling mosques and churches? You asked the same question. You know why Vivek didn't answer it? Because char neembu nichodne se doodh bhi itna nahi phatta. I don't want to complete it. That is the reason. Okay. Otherwise, if you have the guts, you will control the corrupt mosques and corrupt churches as well. Why do you only go after Hindu temples?
No, and not just that. See, under the left government, they had the audacity to send non-faithful into the sanctum sanctorum and break the rules of the deity. Will they do the same with trying to force women into Sunni mosques in Kerala? Will they do it, sir? Will they
That
do
will
it?
be the last day.
They won't. No. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you say equanimity, then it should be the same. I have MR Venkatesh on the phone. Please hear him out. MR Venkatesh ji, namaste. You're watching the broadcast. You said you suffered. You were among the pilgrims who got stuck there in Sabarimala.
See, Anand, I am a regular visitor for more than 30 years as a devotee. Not as a visitor, but I go there with all the Shraddha. Every year I see that the entire arrangement made for the pilgrims goes from backwards. And you think that from now on it will stop and it will improve. Next year you go, you find the whole thing goes down further. So this is because of the lackadaisical attitude of the government, of the Devasam board. Pilgrims are the least of the priority. Minting money is the only reason why that Devasam board remains.
Is it
unfortunate as it's?
Is it true that there was no check on the number of people who would climb up to the Sannidhanam towards that area? Is it true that there is no water, no food, nothing there at the top? Not even toilets?
There are. No, it is basically a forest, and the temple opens 5 days in a month, along with the coinciding with the first few days of the Hindu calendar.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what happens is the entire area is so badly managed, and any rush of pilgrims, and you should see the pilgrims come in during the monthly puja as well as during the seasons, which begins right now. You see that lakhs and lakhs of people coming, and everybody is treated with utmost contempt. Everybody is just left to fend for himself. The food or water facilities just are bare minimal, and nobody cares. Nobody does. And the temple has so much of money. So much of money gets from the devotees themselves. They pour so much of money, so much of love, so much of affection into the temple hundis and the collection places. Nothing is taken care of. Nothing is orderly. Nothing is maintained. Everything is left to chance.
And this year also the same case that was experienced? Same thing?
Yes. Same thing. I went there in July and I found the same thing. And I am sure, Anand, for the next 30 years, this will not improve. The reason for it is the Kerala government has taken a vow not to improve anything in Sabarimala. And they want to keep it as frugal as possible, as elementary as possible. It is Kamchalau administrative or infrastructure that's going on.
But why would they do that? Because Hindus of Kerala have largely voted for the left. They have trusted the left with their mandate.
No, that's for the Hindus of the Kerala state government to answer. Kerala state to answer. The fact of the matter is, whether it is Congress or left, the Hindus have always got a raw deal from the temple administration, and it is pathetic.
MR Venkatesh, thank you for speaking with us. Now Vivek Srivastava.
Yeah, I'll answer the questions one by one. Number one, yes, if there is a concern and there are limitations and some things are lacking in the way the state government is functioning, it should be improved. Everybody agrees on it. Number two, you talked of it that why are we talking only of temples? Why not the mosques? Because you have caste system only in this particular religion that
False. Again, a false leftist narrative. A false leftist narrative. Sir, firqas, caste sects exist across all faiths. All faiths, including Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, and Christianity. There are equal number of discrimination. Tell me, sir, 41% of the Christians in Tamil Nadu are branded Dalit Christians. If there is no casteism there, why are they called Dalit Christians? Why did the Congress say that Charanjit Channi is the first Dalit Sikh? If there is no casteism in Sikhi, no casteism in Christianity, why is it that they were called? Who are the Pashmanda? Who are the Pashmanda in Islam if they are not who are not the lower caste Muslims? Who are not considered the lower caste Muslims? Who are the Sayyadi if they are not the upper caste Muslims? You please tell me, sir. So again, leftist narrative. I disagree with you. I disagree with you when you peddle false narrative, sir. My question is, sir, there is no reason for caste in this. There is no reason. Ayyappa devotees, there is no caste. There is no caste for Ayyappa devotees. Ayyappa himself is a tribal. Ayyappa himself is a tribal. There is no caste for Ayyappa, and anybody and everybody who follows the rituals and rules of the deity is allowed. No, he's allowed to. No, he's allowed to go. There is no caste. There is no. Tell me, sir, can you recognize anybody from their caste in this entire group of lakhs of devotees? Can you recognize a single person and name that, identify that person's caste in this picture that is on the screen? Can you recognize the caste of this person who's fanning his daughter? Can you recognize the caste, sir? There is no caste. So your gobbledygook and this garbage that you are uttering, sir, I reject it outright. I reject it outright because it's a false narrative. Shouting is not going to help. You come with facts, not with your leftist vitriol and a false narrative. No, sir. This government got the votes of its people. This government gets revenue from this temple. This government has the right. The government has a right to respect every faith, and the government has a right to provide the constitutional dignity of life to every single person coming there, irrespective of who that person is. And that has been denied to these devotees, and that's plain visible, sir. Plain and simple visible at this point. Arun Anand, agree, disagree? आप चलाइए मत सर. भीमराव रामजी अंबेडकर के संविधान को आप हाथ नहीं लगा सकते हैं. आप 42nd अमेंडमेंट के बाद वाला 44th अमेंडमेंट के बाद वाला संविधान पकड़ रहे हैं, जो भीमराव रामजी अंबेडकर जी के संविधान से ही अलग है, उसके विपरीत है. आप कौन? आप क्या अंबेडकर की बात कर रहे हैं? All your narratives, all your instructions and everything that's come, sir, page by page, word by word, I'll tear it apart and I'll shred it to threads because it's all garble. It's all garble, sir. And it's got nothing but therefore, maybe, and assumptions. And you know, with the word assume, sir, there are two asses in it. So you make an ass of you and me when you assume. So let's not do that, please. So I reject that outright, sir. Yes. Arun Anand ji.
I think, see, the problem is basically whenever, instead of fixing the accountability, what we intend to do is that there can be nothing wrong with basically, a certain political ideology. So the problem is that we need to fix the accountability. There has to be we do not need to change the goalpost, and I am aghast and shocked basically this whole so-called the left illiberal class. So none of them is basically talking about this inhumane thing which is happening in Kerala right now, and the pictures which you are showing. So I think there are certain things in which we need to rise above the political ideologies, and I agree with Anand Ranganathan ji and you also. See, if you go to the Supreme Court or if you go to the high courts, the largest number of cases you will find the churches. So there is a heavy dispute in terms of the land disputes. Right. Go and ask any major or senior lawyer. Similarly, the government brought the Waqf Act to, otherwise we know that what was happening basically through the Waqf boards all over the country. Right. So I think, but I also want to bring in a point here, that I agree with this thing that Hindus should be able to manage their own temples, but we also need to develop certain protocols, so that they do not become basically the hub of corruption. We need to learn from the mistakes which are being
transparency, accountability is important, but if governments are wanting to ensure that there is dignity that is given, it's a government's job to do this. And if you have committed funds to this place, then you have to show that funds are actualized and there is some metric here. If 2 lakh people have come there, that means you should have an account. What is the local intelligence doing? What are the Devasam board doing? What are these people doing? What are they? Sir, we ask questions. We ask questions to everybody. 65 the expected. Now, keep shouting. You first say Pinarayi Vijayan was wrong. You first say Pinarayi Vijayan should go. You first say Pinarayi Vijayan should be made accountable before you point fingers at anybody else. You won't say any word. You won't say anything. Again, you shift the goalpost. 65 crore people rather than 41 crore people turned up at Kumbh. And how was it managed? Learn from Yogi Adityanath. What happened on that night was an unfortunate incident, but 65 crore people came. Here it is 2 lakh people, sir, and you've not been able to manage them despite knowing that they are going to turn up on that day. That's what it is. So if you before you point fingers at someone, sir, three are pointing back at you, and you must say that Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan should apologize to Hindus of the country, and he should step down before you point fingers at Mr. Yogi Adityanath. Otherwise, don't point fingers at anybody. Let's move on. Your shouting is not going to help, sir. You've been caught.
I'm not shouting.
You've been caught right now. All your narratives are all your narratives are fake, sir. You stitching these narratives is very akin to a Romila Thapar saying that Yudhishthir was influenced by Buddhism. It's the same thing, sir. So it doesn't work. Therefore, maybe, and these assumptions don't work, sir. Who you make an ass of is very, very clearly evident in this case. Let's not do that. Let's quickly move on here to the other big story. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has once again reiterated that every person living in Bharat, regardless of gender or religious affiliation, is in essence a Hindu. Speaking in Guwahati on Tuesday, the RSS chief said if Muslims and Christians, even without giving up their worship, customs and traditions, worship this country, follow Indian culture and take pride in Indian ancestors, then they are Hindus, Mohan Bhagwat said, emphasizing that cultural loyalty rather than religious practice forms the basis of the identity. Listen in.
अपनी पूजा छोड़े बिना, अपने रीति रिवाज छोड़े बिना, मुसलमान ईसाई भी इस देश से भक्ति करते हैं, भारतीय संस्कृति को मानते हैं और भारतीय पूर्वजों पर गर्व करते हैं, तो वो हिंदू ही है.
Now there's a correction in the way we've worded this, viewers, and I'd like to correct that. He has not said worship the country. He has said show devotion to the country. There's a difference between bhakti and puja. What he has said is show the bhakti and devotion towards Bharat while you practice your own individual faith. Now this is exactly what Veer Savarkar had written in his deposition where he defined Hindu and Hindutva somewhere in the 1920s. So even though Veer Savarkar and Dr. Saab differed in the way that they wanted to take forward the social causes, there is an alignment between the Hindu Mahasabha founder and now the RSS also on this. We'll get Arun Anand to speak and elaborate on this in a bit, but the RSS chief is actually echoing, like I said, what Savarkar wrote in a pamphlet called Hindutva, Who is a Hindu, and this was in the 1920s. Savarkar's Hindu is someone who regarded Bharat both as a fatherland and also holy land, and who believed that in this entire geographical area between the three Sindhus and the Himalayas, so the Sindhu is the Indus River in the north, and then the Sindhu means water bodies, that is the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. So this entire peninsula, which, well, at the top on the north is also the Himalayas. So this is the geographical definition that he had outlined. Therefore, all those who love the land and that stretches from the Indus to the seas and as their fatherland consequently claim to inherit the blood of the race that has evolved by incorporation and adaptation from the ancient Sapta Sindhus, can be said to possess two of the most essential requisites of Hindutva. Hinduness is the fact that you believe that your ancestors belong to this land and there is a geographical description to it. Arun Anand now joins us. Is this now clearly defining who you identify, and when you say you're a Hindu or you're from Hindustan, or as the Arabs say Al-Hind or Al-Hindi, who you are actually? Arun
Anand. Thank you for taking up this issue, because there have been a lot of misconceptions about it. See, one, that of course that Hindutva or Hinduness or Hindu Dharma, basically it's a way of life. Supreme Court has also said this, but I just want to bring in a couple of historical facts. Generally what the RSS talks about Hindu nationalism or Hindutva or Hinduness, so people associate it very closely with Savarkar only. But even before Savarkar, in fact the word Hindutva was first used by Chandranath Basu in 1880s when he wrote a treatise on it, and in Bengali then in 1890s it got published as a 300 or 400 page book. Even before that, Bankim Chandra, like when he wrote Anand Mat, if you look at the Vande Mataram which he wrote in 1875, so all this, and then subsequently, in fact the RSS Hindutva is more closer, I would say, at the cost of sounding a little this thing is a blend of Shri Aurobindo's spiritual nationalism and Savarkar's political Hindutva. Savarkar has talked more in his 1923 treatise on Hindutva. He has talked more from basically contemporary perspective, because he wrote it immediately after the Mopla riots had happened in Kerala. Whereas if you look at the literature of Shri Aurobindo, and then there are two more persons whose literature contributed a lot and which can help to understand. One is Bipin Chandra Pal. He wrote a wonderful book called The Soul of India in 1911, in which in 75 pages he explained the concept of Bharat Mata and how and the concept of Hindu nationalism also. So it's a huge book. And then Radha Kumud Mukherjee. So from the first decade of the 20th century, he started writing on it. His wonderful book called The Fundamental Unity of India. So that's it. And none of them had to do anything with RSS. None of them, had to do anything with and they appeared, much before this thing. So this concept of Hindu nationalism has only been carried forward by RSS after its inception in 1925. Otherwise, it has been there since the time of basically Rig Veda. So this is how I basically look at Savarkar. Of course, played a major role in that, but it's not only about Savarkar. It's about a much larger legacy that RSS is trying to carry forward.
So it's not just about your religion or faith that you follow, it's the cultural identity, who we are as Hindus, or that means those who live in this region that is now called Hindustan. Dr. Ranganathan?
No, I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong in what Dr. Mohan Bhagwat has said. He said the right thing, he said absolutely the correct thing, but the next 2 minutes, which hopefully are allotted to me, I can shower a number of compliments on him. He means well, I mean well for him. I'm not going to do that because the time for that is gone. What I want to ask Dr. Mohan Bhagwat is that if everyone in this country who admires and loves and is devotional towards Hinduism, is towards our motherland, why is it that Hindus are being discriminated against under him? Why does he never raise a voice when he knows that if you were to not call them Muslims or Hinduized Muslims, whatever, they have taken in the last 10 years 20 lakh acres of Hindu land? How did we allow that? Why is this discrimination happening that only Hindu-run schools have an obligation of providing 25% reservation to the economically weaker section, not Muslim or Christian-run schools? Why are Hindu temples under state control? Why is it that only 5,000 Kashmiri Hindus who were driven out by Hinduized Muslims in 1990, why haven't 700,000 returned there? Now, I want to remind him again, I'm not being patronizing, but as I said, I already compliment him what he said. But this also is true. If you were to, or anybody else were to go to rss.org and read the vision statement of RSS in 1925, it says that if you do not save or protect Hinduism, you do not save or protect Hindustan. So I want to ask Dr. Mohan Bhagwat directly, are you trying to save and protect Hinduism? Then remove all the discrimination, remove all the discriminatory laws that are applicable only on Hindus. Forget about which Muslim is a Hindu first or Christian first. First remove the discrimination, then we'll come to who is who.
But in this case, Dr. Ranganathan, RSS is a socio-cultural organization that's got nothing to do with politics and policy making. They are not responsible for this. They can only come out and say how society should move forward. It's the job of the BJP. No, it's the job.
Can they not say that Hindus are being discriminated against?
It's the job of the BJP, sir. Arun Anand, please respond before I bring in Vivek Srivastava.
I respect Anand Ranganathan ji a lot.
And I respect you as well, sir.
So, and he's a man of superb intellectual capability and has done a yeoman's service to the cause of Hindutva. But I just want to tell you...
he is a Darwinian atheist. He's not a practicing Hindu.
So, I just want to, tell him one thing. Many people get it wrong. RSS is, as RSS defines itself, RSS is not an organization within the society. RSS is organizing the society. And the ultimate objective of RSS is that when the society gets completely organized, then, it should vanish and nobody should even talk about it when history is written. Because ultimately, jo kar raha hai, wo samaj kar raha hai. So that is how they are looking at it. So I think probably, they need to step up and create more awareness and, do this organizing. They need to rapidly expand, their organizer in terms of organizing the society. Merely coming to power, the BJP's coming to power is not sufficient until and unless basically you organize the society. And I always say that, governments are a sub-function of the society. Society is not a sub-function of the government. So I think and I'm not trying to shift the, responsibility on society, but it's a complex thing. And but this is how RSS looks at it, as far as I understand.
No, just Arun Anand, just pushing you a little there before I come to you, Vivek Srivastava. It's the same society that elected the BJP, which is the political offshoot of the RSS. And it's the same society that has given continuous mandates to the BJP 3 times. It is from the same society that, and from the RSS, people who moved into the BJP, who became education ministers and other ministers who have not changed a single word, and they took pride in it. They have become law ministers and have not amended a single law. They had numbers in parliament and they did not create changes which should have. The society elected them to do that. It's not been done. Is that unfair to say or state?
Yeah. I'll answer your. I'm not a spokesperson.
I know that. I know that.
But I'll share my thought. In 1949, after the ban on RSS was lifted the first time, so there was a huge debate within RSS that whether RSS should become a political organization. But and a large number of people were of that opinion. But the second RSS Sarsangchalak, Guruji Golwalkar,
MS Golwalkar,
so he took a stand that no, RSS will not become a political organization, and he said because politics cannot bring a permanent change in the life. That is the character of the politics. In fact, Mohan Bhagwat ji recently in Bengaluru also he has talked about it. So that's why power has its own character, politics has its own trappings, and there are compulsions. So no permanent change can be brought. But the only thing which a favorable political dispensation can do, that is understanding of the RSS, that they can provide you a relatively conducive atmosphere. But ultimately, it's the society which has to, bring this change. And I agree with you. It's not a perfect government. There are a lot of things which they should have done. But it's a mixed bag. But it's still, much better than the other governments which we had, which were absolutely, anti-Hindu.
And that is precisely the reason. RSS should be aware that if it does not remove discrimination against Hindus, you will have the communists, you will have the Congress doing the sort of things that haven't been done in the last 100 years.
Okay, Vivek Srivastava.
No, I'm just laughing. It's all fascist thoughts. And Mr. Mohan Bhagwat should explain कि धर्म निरपेक्ष और पंथ निरपेक्ष में फर्क क्या है. इनको बताना चाहिए यहाँ बैठ करके कि सिखिज्म, बुद्धिज्म, जैनिज्म अलग धर्म है या अलग पंथ. इनको बताना चाहिए कि एंथ्रोपोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट में दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के अगर आप जाएंगे या कहीं भी जाएंगे तो 6 रेसेस अलग अलग जगह से आई और इमिग्रेशन होकर के मुल्क बना. इनको बताना चाहिए आर्यन इन्वेजन थ्योरी क्या है. इनको बताना चाहिए 1947 के पहले कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ नेशन क्या था जब राजपूताना आपस में लड़ता था, और संस्कृति है क्या. आज मैं एक इंग्लिश के आई एम सिटिंग ऑन एन इंग्लिश चैनल because English is also our language today. So Sanskriti, the way you eat, you dress, you speak, you write, your thoughts, everything changes. All kind of food from everywhere the youngsters are eating today. It's Sanskriti.
Okay. Are you done? Can I?
Okay. So I don't agree with this Hindutva. ये fascist thoughts हैं आप.
Okay.
आप dominate करना चाहते हैं एक culture की superiority दिखा करके to the minorities. It is wrong.
Okay.
I don't agree with this.
Okay.
I don't agree with this at all. पंथ निरपेक्ष क्या होता है? धर्म निरपेक्ष बोलिए आप. ये देश धर्म निरपेक्ष है. And that is what Ambedkar wanted.
Oh no! Wait a minute. He didn't speak. No, Dr. Ranganathan, he didn't speak. So that's why I said when he is ready to yield, we will intervene. At least let's extend that courtesy to Vivek. Can we speak, Vivek Srivastava? Have you made your point?
No, yes, and lastly, I mean, why आप मुझे बताइए एक और पॉइंट 10 सेकंड के अंदर डॉक्टर रंगनाथन. और जब मुल्क आजाद हुआ 1947 में 90% हिंदूज थे, आज 85% होंगे. तो 90% हिंदूज ने हमने करप्शन किया, हमने अपने मुल्क को डेवलप नहीं किया, हमने मेहनत नहीं करी. वी शुड ओन दैट रिस्पांसिबिलिटी. आप 10% मुसलमानों के ऊपर उंगली उठा करके अगर कह रहे हैं कि मुल्क की हालत का जिम्मेदार मुसलमान है, आप गलत हैं. और ये मुसलमान इसमें से 90% दलित हैं जो कन्वर्ट हुए थे. So don't try to shift the onus of why this nation is not a superpower today. It lies with us, the majority. We didn't vote, we are corrupt. Everywhere we are corrupt. हर सरकारी महकमा भ्रष्टाचार से भरा हुआ है. हिंदू एक हिंदू को चीट करता है. कहां से आगे मुसलमान ईसाई बीच में? रिफॉर्म्स की बात करिए ना. घेरा जा रहा है आरएसएस के ऑफिसर्स को महाराष्ट्र के अंदर.
He waited more than 12 minutes to speak, but okay. But only 1 or 2 corrections. One of the things is that the entire Aryan invasion theory has been rejected, sir. It doesn't
that
stand.
is your thought process.
No, sir. It has been rejected. Even the same leftist historians have now amended their differentiation because their theory was proved wrong, and it has been proved wrong. And my point is, within Hindustan itself, it has been proved wrong because of Rakhi Gadi. So this whole 20,000 nomads जो चरवाए थे, for them to come back and teach Sanskrit to this land, it belies common sense also. But that's one part. The second part, sir, the word dharma itself does not mean religion. It's again a leftist-driven narrative that has turned dharma into a religion. Dharma is that which sustains anything. So, koi lipapoti, sir, it's about trying to know your own language. Now, the other thing is, sir, the other thing is us having this discussion in English. Us having this discussion in English is the fructification of the 1890 resolution or decision taken by the then lords after the 1857 mutiny, that we have to leave this land as nothing but a bunch of brown sahibs who are delinked from their own culture, their own thought processes, their language, their sciences, their knowledge systems and their Sanskriti. And that's the manifestation that all of us are sitting like dressed like four brown sahibs, and we are talking in a language which is not supposed to be the language here. But can we bring our thinking and reorient our thinking even if we use this language and Indianize this language? That's another argument for another day. Yes, doctor. Okay, sir. Dr. Rangana, let Dr. Rangana, he wants to respond to Dr.
There is no cure for communism. It can only be defeated through herd immunity. Having said that, I want to ask a very simple question to Vivek, because you come back after a very long time. Vivek, my dear friend, are you a Hindu?
I'm an atheist. If you're talking about so-called Sanatan Dharma and Hindu are same, I'm an atheist. But I respect all religions.
I asked you a question, whether it could be yes or it could be no. Are you a Hindu? Are you a Hindu? Yes or no?
Then I'll be able to. You elaborate, na? Does your Hindu mean Sanatan Dharma? What does your Hindu mean? What is the word Hindu mean according to you?
That is the problem. That is the thing that. Just now he said all of us हम सब हिंदुओं ने ही बर्बाद किया है in his deposition, and now he says I'm an atheist. So you're talking about like I said, sir, Panth, Dharm is all very different, sir. They are all very different explanations. And what's happened is, sir, that it's the left that is contributing in corrupting this entire lexicon altogether, and so much so that the word secular itself has been debased to the extent that it no longer stands for the original meaning in our lexicon. So it's all thanks to a lot of left-driven narrative. But finally, the larger question, viewers, is that if we are really Hindustan, if all of us here geographically and nationally, culturally identify ourselves as Hindus, then is it time that we state that our faith, our personal beliefs, traditions, customs are different. Nation first, Hindustan first, and that's why we'll call ourselves Hindus, because we live in Hindustan. That's what Mohan Bhagwat is urging all of us to say. The jury is out on whether or not we want to accept this definition. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all our guests for joining us in this edition of The Right Stand. Winding up on that note. Namaste.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Alright, of course, on CNN News 18, we are tracking Anmol Bishnoi's return. He is the wanted gangster who will arrive at the IGI airport. He's expected to arrive at around 10 a.m. and from there, as we were speaking to Anima earlier as well, expected to straight away be taken to court. We are tracking his return. We're tracking all sorts of movements that are going to be happening, transfers and interrogations that are to follow as well. For more on this, we have Anshul live with us. Anshul, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this is what we are hearing right now, that he's been removed from the United States. He's expected to arrive at IGI at in about 45 minutes from now. What can you tell us?
Well, yes, Anmol Bishnoi, along with other illegal immigrants in the United States, have been deported from the United States, and it is expected that the flight will land over here in India at approximately 10 a.m. Then the immigration processes will happen, and by 11 a.m., it is expected that the NIA will actually go ahead and formally arrest him. Post that, he will be taken to a hospital where the initial medical checkup or the medical legal certificate would be made, and then eventually he will be produced in front of the Patiala House Court, where the NIA will seek further custody of Anmol Bishnoi, because remember, there are several cases that are being investigated against Anmol Bishnoi. One of the cases that is being investigated is by the NIA of the larger terror nexus that had come up, and how these gangsters who were operating from across the border were actually involved in carrying out several criminal activities out here, specifically in North India and also in parts of Mumbai. But there is definitely a competition between agencies at this point in time, because all of these agencies want to go ahead and interrogate Anmol Bishnoi, be it the Punjab police, be it the Delhi police, be it the Rajasthan police, or for that matter Mumbai police as well, whereas central agencies such as the NIA are all waiting hands on to just get access to Anmol Bishnoi, because he is one of the key links that needs to be interrogated before any sort of a complete investigation could happen. He has been involved in ordering the killing of Sidhu Moosewala. He has been involved in demanding ransom from various businessmen out here in the national capital. He has also been involved in the killing of Baba Siddiqui and the shooting that happened outside the residence of Salman Khan as well. So definitely there are several cases that are being investigated by multiple agencies, and as soon as Anmol Bishnoi will land over here, definitely there is going to be this race amongst agencies to get his custody and to interrogate him further. But definitely as good luck that he is being deported from the United States and he is being handed over back to India. Definitely a lot of investigations are going to be done, and definitely a lot of cases are going to be solved once Anmol Bishnoi lands over here in the national capital within the next few minutes.
Right. Arunima, Anshu has mentioned a few pertinent points here. Of course, we're going to talk about the interstate transfers and interrogations as well, but we are going to see a focus on specific cases, of course, Baba Siddiqui, Sidhu Moosewala, Salman Khan firing as well. However, there, of course, will be a concerted effort to map out this entire network and its finances as well.
So there is a gangsters FIR that NIA was probing, in which Anmol Bishnoi, Lawrence Bishnoi, all their other associates have been named. So the entire gangster terror network in Punjab has been investigated by the National Investigation Agency. The charge sheet has been filed in this case, which dates back to 2022. And Anmol Bishnoi's custody, once taken by NIA, will focus on this particular FIR, this particular investigation itself. If you go by the other big man who was brought into NIA's custody from the United States, accused of terrorism, accused of a high-profile case like 2611, Tawahur Rana. So in that case also, Mumbai police wanted to question Tawahur Rana, and it was given a chance to question Tawahur Rana while he was still broadly in NIA's custody. So a similar pattern could be followed here as well. Well, NIA keeps the broad custody of Anmol Bishnoi, traveling with him from one part of the country to the other. One doesn't really know how it will work out security-wise, because these are high-profile, high-target gangsters. There are intra-gang rivalries at work as well. Goldie Brar is a player in Punjab, along with the Bishnois, who originally their support base is Rajasthan. So one will have to really see how the considerations are kept in mind. But the security agencies are definitely upbeat that Anmol Bishnoi's custody for NIA will unravel who are the other players in this. Already NIA has managed to carry out searches across Delhi NCR, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, to hunt out everyone who's supporting the Bishnois, supporting the Goldie Brar gang, essentially supporting this gangster terror network. But getting Anmol Bishnoi into custody will unravel whatever loose ends are still there as far as investigation goes.
All right. Arunima and Anshul, thank you so much for joining us for all this information. Right now, we're of course going to be tracking all the developments closely.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
All right, of course, on CNN News 18, we are tracking Anmol Bishnoi's return. He is the wanted gangster who will arrive at the IGI airport. He's expected to arrive at around 10 a.m. and from there, as we were speaking to Anuma earlier as well, expected to straight away be taken to court. We are tracking his return. We're tracking all sorts of movements that are going to be happening, transfers and interrogations that are to follow as well. For more on this, we have Anshul live with us. Anshul, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this is what we are hearing right now, that he's been removed from the United States. He's expected to arrive at IGI at around in about 45 minutes from now. What can you tell us?
Well, yes, Anmol Bishnoi, along with other illegal immigrants in the United States, have been deported from the United States, and it is expected that the flight will land over here in India at approximately 10 a.m. Then the immigration processes will happen, and by 11 a.m. it is expected that the NIA will actually go ahead and formally arrest him. Post that, he will be taken to a hospital where the initial medical checkup or the medical legal certificate would be made, and then eventually he will be produced in front of the Patiala House Court, where the NIA will seek further custody of Anmol Bishnoi, because remember, there are several cases that are being investigated against Anmol Bishnoi. One of the cases that is being investigated is by the NIA of the larger terror nexus that had come up, and how these gangsters who were operating from across the border were actually involved in carrying out several criminal activities out here, specifically in North India and also in parts of Mumbai. But there is definitely a competition between agencies at this point in time, because all of these agencies want to go ahead and interrogate Anmol Bishnoi, be it the Punjab police, be it the Delhi police, be it the Rajasthan police, or for that matter Mumbai police as well, whereas central agencies such as the NIA are all waiting hands on to just get access to Anmol Bishnoi, because he is one of the key links that needs to be interrogated before any sort of a complete investigation could happen. He has been involved in ordering the killing of Sidhu Moosewala. He has been involved in demanding ransom from various businessmen out here in the national capital. He has also been involved in the killing of Baba Siddiqui and the shooting that happened outside the residence of Salman Khan as well. So definitely there are several cases that are being investigated by multiple agencies, and as soon as Anmol Bishnoi will land over here, definitely there is going to be this race amongst agencies to get his custody and to interrogate him further. But definitely
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the true flagship killer.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks with me, Zakir Jacob. It's the biggest political news break of the year and a fallout perhaps of the Bihar election results. A top Congress source has told CNN News 18 that the Congress party has now decided it is time to put an end to the India alliance. That the Congress party will now go it alone in the upcoming elections, whether it's in Bengal or in Tamil Nadu or even in Uttar Pradesh, the elections that are slated for early 2027. So this unlikely experiment called the India Alliance, which started sometime in 2023, the main purpose of which was the Lok Sabha elections of last year, where again they failed to dethrone Mr. Modi or the BJP, and then subsequently every state election after the general election has been one disaster after another for the Congress party, whether it was Haryana, Maharashtra, Delhi earlier this year, and of course culminating in Bihar, the result.